Hey y'all, pray having a blessed evening. It's so good to see you. It is Friday evening and the weekend is officially here. I just love the weekend so I can spend more time with my family and friends. It's just a glorious time. And I'm so grateful to have the weekends off to be able to do that. But this evening when I was feeding my cat Morris, I was thinking about how he always wants something more. He has diabetes, so we have to feed him a certain type of food, a certain amount, according to the veterinarian. But he always wants something more. And we don't give it to him because it will make him sick, but still, he always begs for more. And isn't that like all of us? We always want more. It could be something as simple as wanting another piece of pizza, or an extra piece of cake, or maybe even just some more soda, some more coffee. We all have those things that we want more of, but maybe we refrain for our own health. And sometimes it's something more complex, like wanting a higher salary, or a larger house, or a nicer car. But whatever it is, it seems that everyone constantly wants more. Even children want more. They want more candy. They want more time to play. They want more time with their parents. There are things, too, that people want in life that are harder to come by. For example, some people want more peace because they live in turmoil. They want more joy because they live in such sorrow. Others want more love because they feel unloved. No matter what it is, we constantly want more. But in our quest for more, we need to make sure that we never want too much. Because sometimes wanting too much can result in some negative consequences, for sure. And in Exodus chapter 16, we read about the Israelites because they wanted more. They wanted something more to eat. They were upset with Moses for leading them out into the desert. They didn't like this at all. They were very upset, grumbling, complaining, and Moses was just trying to listen to what the Lord's will was and what the Lord was commanding. And it says in verse 4, "Then the Lord said to Moses, I will rain down bread from heaven for you. The people are to go out each day and gather enough for that day. In this way I will test them and see whether they follow my instructions. On the 6th day they are to prepare what they bring in, and that is to be twice as much as they gather on the other days." So the Lord was going to provide bread for them to eat. This was not ordinary bread, but this is special bread that the Israelites called manna. And funny enough, manna just means, what is it? They didn't know what it was, so they just called it the Hebrew word for what is it. So that's where we get the name manna. But manna provided all of the nutrients, all of the health benefits, everything they needed to be satisfied. And that's because the Lord knew what they needed. The Lord always knows what we need. But then again, we always want more, don't we? This is what happened with the Israelites. In verse 13 it says, well, before that they were grumbling, complaining, and the Lord said that at twilight you will eat meat, and in the morning you will be filled with bread. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God. Then verse 13 says that evening quail came and covered the camp, and in the morning there was a layer of dew around the camp. When the dew was gone, thin flakes like frost on the ground appeared on the desert floor. When the Israelites saw it, they said to each other, "What is it?" For they did not know what it was. Moses said to them, "It is the bread the Lord has given you to eat. This is what the Lord has commanded. Each one is to gather as much as he needs. Take an omer," that's about 6 pounds, "for each person you have in your tent." The Israelites did as they were told. Some gathered much, some little. And when they measured it by the omer, he who gathered much did not have too much, and he who gathered little did not have too little. Each one gathered as much as he needed. So the Lord told them to gather what they needed, and they did. And whether they gathered a small amount or a large amount, they had the exact amount they needed, no matter what. It was a perfect, exact amount. But yeah, they were humans, so they still went a step further beyond what the Lord said. Because Moses said to them, "No one is to keep any of it until morning." However, some of them paid no attention to Moses. They kept part of it until morning. So Moses heard from the Lord, told the Israelites what the Lord said to do. They disobey the Lord and keep some till morning. But what happened was that they kept part of it until morning, but it was full of maggots and began to smell. So Moses was angry. I'm sure Moses was very angry. Could you imagine trying to obey the Lord's commands, but having all these people that weren't even listening to you? And they were just keeping this manna, and by the next day it had maggots growing in it. It was smelling and just awful because they weren't supposed to keep it till the next day, because God was going to send enough the next day to provide just as much as they needed. God will always provide exactly what we need. No matter what we're going through, God will always provide. It doesn't matter whether we're going through a time when we don't have enough food, God will provide the food for our physical hunger. But He will also provide the spiritual nutrients, spiritual food that we need to fulfill that spiritual hunger that we have inside of us. He will provide everything. He will provide relief from stress, relief from worry. He will provide joy when we're sad, peace when we need comfort. God will always provide, just like He did for the Israelites. Because later on it says this, it says, every morning everyone gathered as much as he needed, and when the sun grew hot it melted away. On the 6th day they gathered twice as much, 2 omers for each person. And the leaders of the community came and reported this to Moses. He said to them, this is what the Lord commanded. Tomorrow is to be a day of rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. So bake what you want to bake and boil what you want to boil. Save whatever is left and keep it until morning. So they saved it until morning as Moses commanded, and it did not stink or get maggots in it. Eat it today, Moses said, because today is a Sabbath to the Lord. You will not find any of it on the ground today. So everything was perfect. The manna didn't get maggots in it because they were supposed to get 2 days' portion so they'd have enough for the Sabbath. But they were humans and they messed up again. Could you imagine? Because then, on the Sabbath, some of them went out on the 7th day to gather it, but they found none. The Lord said to Moses, how long will you refuse to keep my commands and my instructions? Bear in mind that the Lord has given you the Sabbath. That is why on the 6th day He gives you bread for 2 days. God will always give us what we need in the exact amount we need it, at the exact moment we need it. God will always provide. I love the verses in the Bible that say the Lord will provide, or the Lord provides. Because God knows what we need. He's going to always be faithful. I love the song by the Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir written by Carol Cymbala that says, He's been faithful. Every time we question Him, every time we wonder what's going on, every time we wonder if God even hears our prayers, we will soon find out that He's always been faithful, every moment of every day. There's not one moment in life when God is not faithful to us. But sometimes, like the Israelites, we're blind to the fact that He's faithful. We're blind to the fact that He's sending what we need. They didn't want to see the manna. They were tired of eating manna. They didn't want to see manna. They wanted to see some lavish meal set up before them. But God knew what they needed. He was testing them. He was putting them through a test to see if they would obey His instructions, to see if they would trust Him completely, like a child trusts their father or mother. God is our Heavenly Father. He's going to test us at times. He's going to give us some trials at times. Even Jesus said, in this world you will have troubles and tribulations. But take heart, I have overcome the world. Jesus Christ has overcome the world. God will provide everything we need. The Bible even says that He cares for the sparrow that falls out of its nest. He cares about the lilies. He makes sure they don't toil nor spin. If God cares about the flowers and the birds and the trees, of course He cares about you and I. He loves us beyond our imagination. But we need to not just wish for something more, or not even just pray for something more, because Matthew 6:33 tells us what we need to do. We need to not long for something more. We need to long for someone more. And it says, but seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. If we seek God first, He will give us everything we need, and even more in abundance. I love the verse in the Bible that says He will give us things shaken down and pressed together and overflowing. God's not just going to give us a little bit. He's going to give us every single thing we need to a T. He's not going to leave one stone unturned. He's not going to leave one prayer unanswered. And He's always going to be right on time. God has a plan for your life. He has a master plan for your life. And He loves you so much that He wants that plan to be worked out perfectly every single moment of every single day of your life. But we have to believe Him. We have to trust Him. We have to have faith that He's working on our behalf. Even when we don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, we have to know that it's there. Because God is that light. He loves us beyond our imagination. I know myself at times I long for something more in ministry. God opens so many doors. I'm so grateful for the opportunities that He presents us, but I still want to do more. I can never tell people about Jesus Christ enough. I wish I could sing and minister and speak and tell people about Jesus Christ every single moment of my life. And I pray that every day that time that I'm able to minister increases. But until that moment, I know that I'm in God's perfect will because I'm seeking Him first. I'm seeking His will. I'm seeking His kingdom and His righteousness. And I know that all of these things will be given to me as well. I pray that you can put your trust in Jesus Christ. So whatever you're going through, whatever storm you face, whatever trial you're in right now, seek God first. You may be eating manna every day, and you might be getting tired of that manna. Maybe you're going out and collecting too much or too little, and you think God's just got it all mixed up, but God has everything under control. He's never mixed up. He's never confused. The Bible says He's not the author of confusion, but of peace. So if you feel confused and perplexed and worried and just totally distraught, look to Jesus Christ. Put your eyes on Him, because when you fix your eyes on Him and you seek Him first, everything will come together. Everything will seem more clear. And truly, God will provide everything you need at the moment you need it. God bless you. Be encouraged. And remember, when you long for something more, know that God will always provide.